The Śailendra dynasty, IAST. Śailendra derived from Sanskrit combined words Śaila and Indra, meaning king of the mountain. Also spelled Sailendra, Syailendra, Selendra, was the name of a notable Indianised Indonesian dynasty that emerged in 8th century Java whose reign marked a cultural renaissance in the region. The Śailendras were active promoters of Mahayana Buddhism and covered the Kedu plain of central Java with Buddhist monuments, one of which is the colossal stupa of Borobudur, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Śailendras are considered to be a thalassocracy and ruled maritime Southeast Asia. However, they also relied on agriculture pursuits through intensive rice cultivation on the Kedu plain of central Java. The dynasty appeared to be the ruling family of both the Medang kingdom of central Java for some period and Srivijaya in Sumatra. The inscriptions created by Śailendras uses 3 languages: Old Malay, Old Javanese and Sanskrit, written either in the Kawi alphabet or Prenagari script. The use of Old Malay has sparked the speculation of a Sumatran origin, a Srivijayan connection of this family. On the other hand, the use of Old Javanese suggests their firm political establishment on Java. The use of Sanskrit usually signifies the official nature and religious significance of the event written on the inscription. Primary sources: the Sojo Merto inscription, c. 725, discovered in Batang Regency, Central Java, mentioned the name Dipunta Selendra and Selendranama. The name Selendra was another speaking of Śailendra, suggested that Dipunta Selendra was the progenitor of Śailendra family in Central Java. The inscription is Shaivist in nature, which suggests that the family was probably initially Hindu Shaivists before converting to Mahayana Buddhism. The earliest dated inscription in Indonesia in which clearly mentioned the dynastic name of Śailendra as Śailendra Vansatulaka appears is the Colossal inscription, 778, of Central Java, which mention its ruler Maharaja Dayapana Karyanapanam Karana and commemorates the establishment of a Buddhist shrine, Candi Kalasan, dedicated for the goddess Tara. The name also appears in several other inscriptions like the Kelurak inscription, 782, and the Karong Tengah inscription, 824. Outside Indonesia, the name Śailendra is to be found in the Liga inscription, 775, on the Malay Peninsula and Nalanda inscription, 860. In India, it is possible that it was Panam Karana that create the Chaya, or Liga inscription, 775, and took control over Srivijayan realm in the southern Thailand Malay Peninsula. Possible origins: although the rise of the Śailendras occurred in Kedu Plain in the Javanese heartland, their origin has been the subject of discussion. Apart from Java itself, an earlier homeland in Sumatra, India or Cambodia has been suggested. The latest studies apparently favor a native origin of the dynasty, despite their connections with Srivijaya in Sumatra and Thai Malay Peninsula. The Śailendras were more likely of Javanese origin. India. According to Ramesh Chandra Majumdar, an Indian scholar, the Śailendra dynasty that established itself in the Indonesian archipelago originated from Kalinga in eastern India. This opinion is also shared by Nilakanta Sastry and J. L. Mones. Mones further describes that the Śailendras originated in India and established themselves in Palembang before the arrival of Srivijaya's Dipunta Hyang Sri Jayanasa in 683. The Śailendras moved to Java because of the pressure exerted by Dipunta Hyang and his troops. Sumatra. Other scholars hold that the expansion of Buddhist kingdom of Srivijaya was involved in the rise of the dynasty in Java. Supporters of this connection emphasize the shared Mahayana patronage, the intermarriages and the Liga inscription. Also the fact that some of Shailendra's inscriptions were written in Old Malay, which suggested Srivijaya Sumatran connections. The name, Sailendra, was first mentioned in Sojo Merto inscription, 725, as Depunta Sailendra. Depunta Sailendra is suggested as the ancestor of Śailendras. The title Depunta is similar to those of Srivijaya and King Depunta Hyang Srijayanasa. And the inscription, although discovered in central Java north coast, was written in Old Malay, which suggested the Sumatran origin of Srivijaya and connection to this family. Java. Another theory suggests that Śailendra was a native Javanese dynasty and the Sanjaya dynasty was actually a branch of the Śailendra, since Sri Sanjaya and his offspring belonged to the Śailendra family that were initially the Shaivist rulers of the Medang kingdom. The association of Śailendra with Mahayana Buddhism began after the conversion of Panaraban or Panangkaran to Buddhism. This theory is based on the Karita Parahyangan, which tells of the ailing King Sanjaya ordering his son, Rakai Panarabana Panangkaran, to convert to Buddhism because their faith in Shiva was feared by the people in favor of the pacifist Buddhist faith. The conversion of Panangkaran to Buddhism also corresponds to the Rajasankara inscription, which tells of a king named Sankara, identified as Panangkaran, converting to Buddhism because his Shiva faith was feared by the people. Unfortunately, the Rajasankara inscription is now missing. Discounted proposal. In 1934, the French scholar Coedes proposed a relation with a Funan kingdom in Cambodia. Coedes believed that the Fulanese rulers used similar-sounding, mountain lord titles. But several Cambodia specialists have discounted this. They hold there is no historical evidence for such titles in the Funan period. Śailendras in Java. The Śailendra rulers maintained cordial relations, including marriage alliances with Srivijaya in Sumatra. For instance, Samaragrawira married Dewi Tara, a daughter of Srivijaya and Maharaja Dharmasatu. The mutual alliance between the two kingdoms ensured that Srivijaya had no need to fear the emergence of a Javanese rival and that the Śailendra had access to the international market. Karong Tengger inscription dated 824 mentioned about King Samaratunga. His daughter named Pramodawardhani has inaugurated a Jinalaya, a sacred Buddhist sanctuary. The inscription also mentioned a sacred Buddhist building called Venuvana to place the cremated ashes of King Indra. The Tri-Tepusan inscription dated 842 mentioned about the Sema tax-free lands awarded by Rekahulunan Pramodawardhani, daughter of Samaratunga, to ensure the funding and maintenance of a Kamulan called Bumisambara. Kamulan itself from the word mula, which means the place of origin, a sacred building to honor the ancestors. These findings suggested that either the ancestors of the Śailendras were originated from central Java, or as the sign that Śailendra have established their holds on Java. Kasparists suggested that Bhumisambara Budara, which in Sanskrit means the mountain of combined virtues of the 10 stages of bodhisattvahood, was the original name of Borobudur. The received older version holds that the Śailendra dynasty existed next to the Sanjaya dynasty in Java. Much of the period was characterized by peaceful coexistence and cooperation, but towards the middle of the 9th century relations had deteriorated. Around 852 the Sanjaya ruler Pikatan had defeated Balaputra, the offspring of the Śailendra monarch Samaratunga and Princess Tara. This ended the Śailendra presence in Java and Balaputra retreated to the Srivijaya kingdom in Sumatra. where he became the paramount ruler. Earlier historians, such as N. J. Crom and Coedes, tend to equate Samaragrawira and Samaratunga as the same person. However, later historians such as Slamet Mariana equate Samaratunga with Rakaigarung, mentioned in Mantiasi inscription as 5th monarch of Mataram Kingdom, which means Samaratunga was the successor of Samaragrawira, and Balaputrade with it is also Samaragrawira's son, is Samaratunga's younger brother and ruled in Suvarnadvipa, Sumatra, and he is not Samaratunga's son. This version holds Balaputra that reign in Sumatra challenged the Pikatan Pramoda Wardani legitimation in Java, arguing that his niece and her husband has less rights to rule Java compared to his Śailendras in Sumatra. After 824, there are no more references to the Śailendra house in the Javanese epigraphic record. Around 860 the name reappears in the Nalanda inscription in India. According to the text, the king Devapaladeva of Bengala, Pala Empire, had granted Balaputra, the king of Suvarnadvipa, Sumatra, the revenues of 5 villages to a Buddhist monastery near Bodh Gaya. Balaputra was styled a descendant from the Śailendra dynasty and grandson of the king of Java. From Sumatra, the Śailendras also maintained overseas relations with the Chola kingdom in southern India, as shown by several South Indian inscriptions. An 11th century inscription mentioned the grant of revenues to a local Buddhist sanctuary, built in 1005 by the king of the Srivijaya. In spite the relations were initially fairly cordial, hostilities had broken out in 1025. Rajendra Chola I, the emperor of the Chola dynasty, conquered some territories of the Śailendra dynasty in the 11th century. The devastation caused by Chola invasion of Srivijaya in 1025 marked the end of Śailendra family as the ruling dynasty in Sumatra. The last king of Śailendra dynasty, the Maharaja Sangrama Vijayatungavarman, was imprisoned and taken as hostage. Nevertheless, amity was re-established between the two states. Before the end of the 11th century, in 1090 a new charter was granted to the old Buddhist sanctuary. It is the last known inscription with a reference to the Śailendras. With the absence of legitimate successor, Śailendra dynasty seems ceased to rule. Other family within Srivijaya Mandala took over the throne. A new Maharaja named Srideva, according to Chinese source, establishing new dynasty to rule Srivijaya. He sent an embassy to the court of China in 1028 CE. Śailendras in Bali. Sri Kesari Warmadwa was said to be a Buddhist king of the Śailendra dynasty, leading a military expedition to establishing a Mahayana Buddhist government in Bali. In 914, he left a record of his endeavor in the Belanjong Pillar in Sanur in Bali. According to this inscription, Warmadwa dynasty was probably the branch of Śailendras that rule Bali. List of Śailendran rulers. Traditionally, the Śailendra period was viewed to span from the 8th to the 9th century, confined only in central Java, from the era of Panangkaran to Samaratunga. However, the recent interpretation suggests the longer period of Śailendra family might existed from mid-7th century. Edict of Sojo Meto inscription, to early 11th century. The fall of Śailendran dynasty of Srivijaya under Chola invasion. For certain period, Śailendras ruled both central Java and Sumatra. Their alliance and intermarriage with Srivijayan ruling family resulted with the merging of two royal houses, with Śailendran finally emerge as the ruling family of both Srivijaya and Medang Mataram. Central Java. Some historians tried to reconstruct the order and list of Śailendra rulers. Although there is some disagreement on the list, Bochari tried to reconstruct the early stage of Śailendra based on Sojo Meto inscription, while other historians such as Slamet Mahayana and Poa Bajaraka tried to reconstruct the list of Śailendran king in middle and later period with their connections to Sanjaya and Srivijaya, based on inscriptions and Karita Parahyangan manuscript. However, there is some confusion occurred, because the Śailendra seems to rule many kingdoms, Kalinga, Medang and later Srivijaya. As the result, name of the same kings often overlapped and seems to rule these kingdoms simultaneously. The question mark signified outer speculation because of the scarcity of available valid sources. See also, List of monarchs of Java, Slendro, Kandy of Indonesia. Notes. De Casparis, J. G. De. 1956. Prasasti Indonesia 2. Selected inscriptions from the 7th to the 9th centuries AD. Bandung. Masabaru. 1956. Kenneth Perry London. 1969. Southeast Asia. Crossroad of Religions. University of Chicago Press. ISBN 0-226-46840-2. Briggs, Lawrence Palmer. 1951. Quote, Review of Southeast Asia, Crossroad of Religions by K. P. Landon. The Far Eastern Quarterly. 9. 3. 271-277. G. Coedes. 1934. On the Origins of the Sailendras of Indonesia. Journal of the Greater India Society. I. 61-70. K. R. Hall. 1985. Maritime Trade and State Development in Early Southeast Asia. Honolulu. University of Hawaii Press. ISBN 0-8248-0959-9. Claude Jacques. 1979. Funan. Zhenle. The Reality Concealed by These Chinese Views of Indochina. In R. B. Smith and W. Watson. Early Southeast Asia. Essays in Archaeology, History and Historical Geography. New York, Kuala Lumpur. Oxford University Press. pp. 371-389. M. Vickery. 2003-2004. Funan Reviewed. Deconstructing the Ancients. Bulletin de l'École Française d'Extrême Orient. 101-143. Paul Michel Munoz. 2006. Early Kingdoms of the Indonesian Archipelago and the Malay Peninsula. Editions Didier Millet. ISBN 981-4155-67-5. Borobudur website.